Welcome, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, to the New Black Media. Today's broadcast is about a California man who planned a mass shooting, police say. So I ask you, what's new in 2019? So, Long Beach, California, police arrested a man they say was planning a mass shooting. A disgruntled cook with high-powered guns threatened mass shooting at a Long Beach hotel. Police in Long Beach thwarted a possible mass shooting this week when they arrested a disgruntled hotel cook they say threatened to carry out violence at his workplace. Rodolfo Montoya, 37 years old, who worked at the Long Beach Marriott by the airport, was taken into custody Tuesday at his home in Huntington Beach. Officers seized multiple high-powered firearms, including an assault rifle, 38 high-capacity magazines, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition, according to investigators. Police said Montoya told a coworker Monday that he planned to come into work and shoot everybody he saw at the hotel. Montoya was angry about a human resources issue, according to investigators. The coworker notified the hotel's management team, who contacted police. Officers located Montoya and took him into custody the following day. I believe the police department has worked to avert what could have been a real tragedy in this community, unquote, Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia said Wednesday at a news conference announcing the arrest. Investigators said the specificity of the plan that Montoya described to his coworker, as well as his access to firearms, were sources of particular concern. Quote, suspect Montoya had clear plans, intent, and the means to carry out an act of violence that may have resulted in a mass casualty incident, unquote, Long Beach Police Chief Robert Luna said. At this point, I have to stop for a second. Family, I hope you've been paying attention to the arsenal, the cache of weapons and ammunition that this Rodolfo Montoya had in his home. This is what's happening in 2019 in these days, where they are pushing for our Second Amendment rights, which I believe is true and correct that we should be able to have. But there should be a limit. There is no reason on God's green earth that this man had this much in his home. Because why and for what reason? What are you needing all of this for? To protect against whom? It's not like Huntington Beach is Skid Row. So the question begs, why does a person need this much arsenal in their homes? Secondly, I'm glad that this coworker spoke up and said something. Because although some people may look at that as being snitched on, in this type of incident, you would be a damn fool and stupid not to speak up. I'm just saying, there are situations like this that pertain to many, many other people's lives where it is our individual responsibility to speak up and say something. That's my take. That's my opinion on it. But I digress. It says, quote, I believe the police department has worked to avert what could have been a real tragedy in this community, Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia said Wednesday at a news conference announcing the arrest. Investigators said the specificity of the plan that Montoya described to his coworker, as well as his access to firearms, were sources of particular concern. Suspect Montoya had clear plans, intent, and the means to carry out an act of violence that may have resulted in a mass casualty incident, Long Beach Police Chief Robert Luna said. Investigators weren't sure how Montoya obtained the weapons. They said a preliminary investigation indicated he did not have a criminal history that would prevent him from legally owning firearms, but added that in most cases, assault rifles and high-capacity magazines are illegal for anyone to possess in California. So, if that be the case, this Rodolfo Montoya shouldn't never get out of jail/prison. So, detectives were looking into every possibility, Luna said, including whether Montoya purchased the assault rifle from out of state or bought the weapon legally and modified it. Quote, "We know that there is a serious conversation happening across the country around who has access to dangerous weapons, who has access to illegal guns and magazines," Garcia said. Well, that's nice that you exposed that, Garcia, that we know that there's serious conversation happening around the country on who has access to these dangerous weapons, because it appears to most foundational Black Americans what we see is a police force, namely the FBI, who instead have their eyes targeted more on what they perceive as a threat, and they call them Black identity extremists, when good and well there are people just like this Rodolfo Montoya who are the real extremists, who are the real criminals. But they focus more on the foundational blacks in this country because, after all, we built this country and we have a lot to say about it. We have a right to say a lot about it. But I digress. He continues, and there is no question that as a country and as a community, we are having a conversation about that and need to do more, and we should be doing more. And that's exactly what I stated earlier. Montoya was arrested on suspicion of manufacturing and distributing assault weapons, possession of an assault weapon, and making a criminal threat. Well, I'd say that he should be remaining in jail then and not let out under any means. So he is being held at the Long Beach City Jail in lieu of a $500,000 bail. Detectives were continuing to interview him Wednesday afternoon. Investigators credited the hotel worker and his managers with bringing the incident to their attention. Quote, "Because this was reported, I firmly believe that many lives were saved," unquote, Luna said. And so it's unclear at this time whether Montoya has an attorney, but he will appear in court as early as Thursday. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office is expecting Long Beach Police to present the case tomorrow on Thursday, spokesman Ricardo Santiago said. The arrest is the latest in a string of detentions or investigations over threats to commit mass shootings. I mean, there's been a string of detentions and investigations over these threats of mass shootings. At least 28 people have been arrested since the shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio earlier this month. Just after the shootings, the FBI director issued a directive for agency offices nationwide to conduct a new threat assessment. Wow. That must mean that you guys are going to take this fabricated, fantasized BIE or black identity extremists off your list. That would be intelligent and wise, and it would also show that perhaps maybe some of you do have higher IQs. Perhaps. But that's the end of this story, family. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope to bring you another video because I do have a rant. I have something on my mind that I have to get off. And so with that, I'm going to end this video. This is the New Black Media bringing you yet again another broadcast on a threat of mass shootings. And this is all after the El Paso, Texas mass shooting and the Dayton, Ohio mass shooting. This is the type of society we have found ourselves in. And yet, we're supposed to be the greatest country on the planet. This is the New Black Media. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out. While you're out doing dance challenges in the streets, twerking, dancing, singing, and playing around, these white supremacists and others are collecting weapons just like this. What you gonna do? Tap dance your way out of things? Good luck with that. This is what they collect.